Tottenham 3, Manchester United 0, and there's no beating around the bush. Tottenham destroyed us. Tottenham outplayed us, and to be honest, 3-0 is quite a flattering scoreline because Tottenham probably could have had 5, 6, maybe even 7. Werner missed 2 big chances. Johnson hit the post. I think Maddison came close in the first half, and even before the red card, Tottenham were 1-0 up, but they could have been 3-0 up easily. We got completely and utterly outplayed, and got his tactics spot on. Tottenham defended well. Their midfield was better than ours. Their midfield was brilliant. The creativity of Kulu and Maddison just absolutely tearing us apart. And yeah, Solanke's press, over 4 XG. The XG philosophy even puts Tottenham at 5 XG. SofaScore has different statistics, but Man United conceded more than 5 XG for a match in the first time in the last 3 seasons. And we also conceded 9 big chances in the match for the first time in the last 10 seasons. 9 big chances Tottenham had, and an XG of 4.0, which stat pads Tottenham to now top of the Premier League for the highest XG and big chances this season, which is a good statistic to have, and we'll talk about that in detail. But according to SofaScore, these are the statistics. Tottenham with a 4.67 XG, which is absolutely embarrassing, and 9 big chances. And Werner should have at least scored one of those 2 chances. I think Kulusevski, created 9 chances, 3 of which were big chances, and he was unbelievable. And I think he's probably been Tottenham's best player this season. I think him and Maddison, since they've been playing together, have both been good. But I think Kulusevski, he had a good pre-season playing sort of number 9. And I think he had a period where Maddison was injured, where he was quite good last season in the 10 role. But I think on the wing under Ange, because he's not super quick, he's not been as good on the wing. And I think Ange has figured out, Kulu and Maddison in the 8 roles, but Maddison can go out wide, and Son could come in more central, and they can do rotations. And then Benton is so technically solid, but can do the defensive role to let them push up, and is a bit more consistent than Basuma. And then you've got solid back 4 as it is, and then Son if he's fit, Johnson on the wing is good options, and Solanke pressing. I think Ange has figured out what his sort of best Tottenham side is and what it looks like. And to be honest, I didn't want to record this video. I'm not going to lie. But if you're wondering, my thoughts on Manchester United, I have a video on Alice Talks Football where you get my thoughts on Manchester United, and it is not nice. It's very much, Ten Hag, what are you doing? What are you doing this player? What are you doing that player? So if you're interested in my Man United thoughts, go over to Alice Talks Football. But this video is just to talk about Tottenham and my thoughts on Tottenham and what Tottenham did well, which is why I don't want to make this video. And I've already given my thoughts over on Man United earlier. But Tottenham, they looked really good defensively today. And I think this season Tottenham have looked better. I see an improvement in Tottenham defensively this season. I think today they were unbelievable defensively. I think Romero and Van de Ven were just this beast of a pairing. But I've seen Tottenham look better this season. I thought their rest defence is a lot more stable. And I think that there was a little bit of Ange out-talk recently, which I think was a little bit reactionary, if I was going to be honest. He's only in his 2nd season. He's got a few new signings in. Of course, Ange has got to deliver and show something this season. But I think he is. Even in games you lost like Newcastle, I feel like Ange coached a win. But he was almost unlucky that you weren't taking your chances, which you didn't do today. But luckily, you had about 9 big chances to put in for you. Why am I saying luckily? Not luckily. Unluckily. Unluckily, yeah, about 9. Luckily for you, but not luckily at all. And, I think Ange has improved Tottenham. Tottenham have the most possession on average. They've now created the most chances in the league. And they have the second best, defensive, I say defensive record, I mean defensive statistics in the league. Defensive statistics in the league so far this season. I think they've got 3 clean sheets now. What was it, 2? And your pressing, particularly with Solanke in it, is gone up a level. I see what Ange is trying to do. I think Tottenham are better this season. I know you had that unreal start this last season. I think you're better than this season. I think your all-round play, your off-the-ball structure. There was a lot of talk about how Tottenham would get run for off the ball. I think Tottenham look a lot better. I think Ange has improved you defensively, and you look good going forward. And I still think you're like a top winger, another midfielder, and probably depth in that left centre-back, left-back role as well is probably something that might be added in the future. But I have to say the Benson, Maddison, Kulusevski midfield trio works well. I said this so many times, but when you have Kulu and Maddison, they split the creative responsibilities. I think Maddison started so well under Ange, first 2 months in his first season, then got injured. But then teams sort of figured it out and were just marking Maddison out of the game. And then they were really focusing on Maddison. Because Kulu is just as creative as Maddison, Maddison's now not getting double marked. There has to be one on Kulu, one on Maddison, which creates space for both players and gives them a bit more freedom on the ball because you now have to worry about the both of them. And I think Maddison was fantastic. And I think Bentancur, his technical ability to break the lines, to get the ball moving as well was really good. And I think Tottenham dominated the midfield. Those three, they've got the running power, they've got the technical ability, they've got the creativity, the vision, the flair. It's a very attacking midfield three, but it works absolutely incredibly well. And I thought the midfield three was fantastic. And I think that trio's looked really good for a while. I mean, I say a while, they've only been playing a couple of games together, but I think, you know, you had the Basuma, Maddison, Sarr thing going on last year, which was really good for the first 10 games. But I think this midfield three has been working really well lately for Ange. And then you've got Bergvall, Gray, Sarr, and Basuma as options on the bench, which really is quite good depth when you think about it. I think it's just figuring out the balance. But as I said, 9 big chances for Tottenham. They could have won 6-0. Maddison, fantastic. Johnson, 4-4. Tottenham's press is incredible. But we're going to talk about my man of the match, Kulusevski. I think he's been Tottenham's best player this season. I did an underrated 11 so far this season, and this guy almost was the captain of it. He was very much in that lineup for players having the most under-the-radar seasons. But let's talk about him. I think 9 chances created in a game is an absolute joke. I think Bruno Fernandes has done that a couple of times, and I remember us thinking like, whoa, like, what, Bruno create 9 chances versus West Ham? That's insane. And look, he was incredible today. Every time he got the ball, something happened. I mean, Werner did rob him of an assist. He could have got 3 assists today, 3 big chances created. He could have come away with some kind of Cole Palmer stats. Honestly, 5 defensive actions, 9 chances created, 3 passes into final third, 3 big chances created, 1 shot, 1 goal. He was the guy pulling the creative strings. He's technically good. He is creative. He's press resistant, but he's also got the work rate and physical traits to retain the ball, cover ground, and more, which I think is making him so beneficial because I think with Kulu, because he's a bit more physical, you know, he's not someone you can easily push off the ball. He has the back to goal play, can hold the ball, but he can receive the ball at any angles and sort of turn as he receives the ball. His touch, his technique, his control. He's such a technically gifted player that he can receive the ball in tight angles and in touch to take him away from the defender, create separation, and then via that separation, he has the vision to find space and perfectly execute that pass. I think he's a very special player. I think his passing and final balls, and I think him just controlling the final third, it absolutely ripped us apart. His physicality, his playmaking ability, I think he's shown he's an elite 10. In Ange's system, he's not a winger. Ange wants pacey touchline wingers. He's not pacey. I mean, he's fast, but he's not like something like Brennan Johnson quick. Do you know what I mean? He's a creator. He's a bit more physical. He operates best in the half space. Maddison has always operated best in the left half space. Kulu's always operated right in the right half space. And just realised he's got 2 unbelievable players in Maddison and Kulu and has found a way to get them to work together. And you've got to give Ange credit for figuring it out as well. He was receiving the ball, the touch, the turn, the quick passing, you know, his ability to move the ball quickly. And I think with Maddison, Bentancur, and Kulu, you've got players that are able to move the ball quickly. They're technically good. And I think that's why Ange invested in Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall that are also technically good and able at doing that. I think a lot of that was because, you know, they moved the ball quickly, and that's what Ange wants. And you can see that when Tottenham were moving the ball quickly, they were tearing us apart. Now, obviously, Tottenham are really good today, but I'm not going to lie. Man United were atrocious. Man United were atrocious. We made it easier for you. You were incredible, but we were so open. And having a player like Kulu and Maddison against a side that has no out-of-possession structure is a death trap. And talking of death traps, this. I mean, this is sensational from Mickey van der Ven. And I'm not going to take anything away from Mickey van der Ven doing this. He did something similar versus Everton. It is not even the first time he's done this. But Man United conceded something like this versus FC20. An FC20 player, ran through us the other day. This is something that Man United do, where we consistently let a player literally run from their own half all the way to our box. It's a big Man United problem, and Mickey van der Ven took advantage of it today. He was fantastic. Look at his touch map. Look how far up the pitch he was getting. And you know what's really annoying is I did a match preview, and I named the things I was worried about. I said Man United giving Tottenham too much space. I said particularly on our left flank, so your right-hand side, Brennan Johnson. I said Brennan Johnson's a player that I'm actually most worried about going into this game. And the reason I said that is because Delot now inverts into midfield, so he doesn't stay out wide, or he's asked to push really high and press. And then Rashford doesn't track back on the left. And then we've got no midfielder that particularly covers the left side. So I said I was always worried about the conceding from Porro and Brennan Johnson getting down the right. What do? They score. Brennan Johnson scores. I also said my second biggest concern was actually Kulu and Maddison, because United don't mark cutbacks or don't mark players at the back post. We didn't mark Brennan Johnson at the back post. We didn't mark the cutback. That was a goal. I then said Kulu and Maddison were the players I was most worried about because of their creativity in and around the box, which we're not good at defending. Kulu scores, Maddison almost scored, the creativity there. I then said my final worry when I saw the starting 11 was we're going for pace and being direct, but they've got Mickey van der Ven at the back. Everything I said I was worried about, and everything I said from watching Tottenham and Man United this season, Tottenham went and did. Everything I was worried about, Brennan Johnson not marking a player on the cross, Kulu and Maddison creating, Mickey van der Ven being impossible to get past, Tottenham did. And I think that was so frustrating, but Mickey van der Ven, incredible player. His touch map, he was really getting up high, and Man United was struggling to get out of their own half at times. And I think with Mickey van der Ven, he's just an absolute monster of a player. And I saw this tweet, Mickey van der Ven's speed is cheat code, one of the most powerful runners we've ever seen in the league. And it's absolutely true. His running ability is insane. Absolutely insane, his ball carrying ability, which is why he could play left back if needed. I could talk about Mickey van der Ven, how good he is all day. I can't be bothered. James Maddison's having a really good season. I think he started the season unbelievably well for Tottenham. He's first for key passes, first for attacking actions in whole of Europe, second for forward passes, second for progressive passes, second for crosses, and second for touches in the box. Tottenham have looked really good going forward with this Kulu Maddison being able to create for them and stuff. Man United couldn't deal with it. You know what? Man United's worst performance was today. We were worse today than we were versus Liverpool because Tottenham created so much more than Liverpool. Liverpool dominated us, but Liverpool were a lot more clinical than you guys. You kind of destroyed us, your creativity, your everything. And I think Maddison is probably having one of the most underrated seasons. I think he's been, for me, he probably should get back in the England side after his form. He's been incredible. I think his movement, his intelligence, his vision, his ability to pass forward, break the lines, it's a special player. And then continue on, Brennan Johnson. Didn't want Brennan Johnson to score today, but I think the hate he's been getting is crazy. And he's responded with 4 goals and 4. And I just saw this 17 goal contributions to 31 starts. But Brennan Johnson in the Premier League is quite a good return, I think. It's not, amazing. There's definitely a level you'll want Brennan Johnson to go up, but he's so overhated. He's better than Sancho. He's better than Anthony ever was at Manchester United. And I think, he's inconsistent, and I think he's sometimes looked better coming off the bench. There's no doubt in my mind that if you give this guy a bit of space, he can make an impact. He can put in a good cross. He can score. He can arrive at the back post. And I think last season was his sort of year to get used to Ange. But I think this year, Brennan Johnson could kick on and have a good season. I think, maybe Tottenham played a little bit more than they should have for him. But I think he's a good player. And I think he was way overhated by, I thought Solanke was really impressive as well. I think his movement was elite. I think his pressing and movement caused us issues. Tottenham's press was fantastic today. I'll give you that. Hold-up play was good. His ability to link up was good today. He was linking up well today. Got his goal, 3-3, building confidence. But with Solanke, he's an intelligent player that can be a box threat. He can be a focal point, hold up the ball. He can lead the line. He can run in behind a transition and more. He can link up. He can press. But he's one of those guys, you can play it into him behind and he can run onto it. Or if you want to play more defensively, not that Ange would, he can also be a box threat, which gives you versatility. And I thought Mikey Moore was an impressive cameo when he came on. I said this before. If he had started over Werner, I'd have been more concerned. Werner, and I don't want to give one a stick, but Werner's like the Anthony. Mikey Moore's like the Amad Diallo. Last year, we had 10 hours persisting with Anthony. Amad Diallo would come off 15 minutes, look bright. Anthony would start the next game. I think, Ange needs to start this guy. If Son is out, I think Ange should start this guy because I'm a big fan of, if your youth is good enough, play them. Don't go, they're 17, I'm not going to play them. Tenol Mano and Tenol Garnacho, and they were our 2 best players last season. I think Ange should, throw Mikey Moore in. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please do hit the like button. Of course, subscribe if you're new. Bye.